Welcome to the Sigma Data Apps Conference. Today I'm very excited to present Sigma and Databricks together and how these two technologies can be used to build data apps. Getting into our agenda today, we're going to do some brief introductions. We will then have a Sigma Data App Showcase. Then we're going to cover data apps architecture with Sigma, or why Sigma on Databricks is good for data applications. And then finally, we're going to get into the future of data applications. To go ahead and kick off introductions, my name is Mitch Ertle. I'm a Senior Partner Solutions Architect here at Sigma, specializing in Databricks. Prior to joining Sigma, I spent 10 years as a data practitioner, leading data engineering, BI, and analytics engineering teams. Let me go ahead and pass over to our featured guest today, Josue.
I'm Josue. I'm a technical advisor, product advisor, and generally speaking, a content creator. I come from a data engineering, cloud architecture, and analytics background, and I'm very happy to be in a product advisor to Sigma.
I'm here with Greg Kraleski, who is a product manager at Databricks as part of Databricks' money team. Greg, what is the importance of tagging, especially around pipelines and pipeline-related cost?
Yeah, when it comes to customers understanding and managing their costs, something we call FinOps, tagging ends up being a crucial building block that everything else is built upon. What I've tended to see is that companies that haven't invested in tagging get blocked sometime down the line when they're trying to organize, understand costs, do attribution, or take optimization efforts. And tagging is a lot of work. It's complicated. You have to figure out how to get tags applied on everything, how to get the accuracy level up. And I think for most people, it's a game of completion. How much of that can you get in place? How accurate can you get it versus the time you're investing in it? As a company gets larger in their cloud spend or their spend on Databricks, you start to see them invest more in tagging. There's even some dedicated, tag management applications, or I've seen companies invest in homegrown solutions. But it all goes to that, getting the tagging in place so you can make good decisions. And I think anything that can help reduce the effort to get you there will, sort of pay dividends in the long run of the cost management you're able to put into place on top of those taggings.
Tagging helps you understand the details of your cloud bill. But what happens when not everything is properly tagged and you have unidentified pipeline cost? This proof of concept application that uses both the power of Sigma apps as well as a tasteful amount of AI is one of the ways that you could address that problem. Let's see what we have here. 3 jobs that we have no idea what they're about. About 44% of the time that we're using compute, the finance team doesn't know what it is going toward. And then we have some general cost information. Then we have this pie chart that categorizes our lakehouse spend by department, and the bar chart to tell us the trend over time. Notice all of the nulls. We have no visibility as to what department those costs should be attributed to. So let's fix that. And let's use GenAI from Databricks as well as Sigma to do just that. We go to the Modify tab so we can address our tagging issues. As we all know, LLMs can hallucinate. So think of this as our human-in-the-loop portal for addressing those tagging issues. Go to the job approval workflow. These are our untagged pipelines. We will amend this job or pipeline. Based on our custom LLM model, we receive some suggestions for what the environment should be, as well as for the department. For this demo, we use pipeline metadata, including tables that are written to inside of that workflow and comments or descriptions of those tables available through the Unity catalog. We confirm that we are good with those suggestions, or perhaps we override them. This pipeline is good to go. With that done, let me show you another pipeline to see why human-in-the-loop is important. With our custom-built classification function, you can see that the environment answer is not a valid one. But we could override it if we wanted to. I won't classify this one for the sake of this demo. Now let's add the right tags for this second pipeline. Quick note, everything that we built here is only adding these tags within Sigma. You could, however, leverage Databricks' API for workflows to update the tags directly inside of Databricks as well. Sigma's piece here, though, will help keep track of those costs retroactively. Now let's look at our updated numbers. 1 untagged pipeline instead of 3, down to 32% instead of 44% untagged job runs, and our costs are still the same. Now, as you can see, we've gained much more granular level understanding of our costs at both the environment and the department level.
Thanks, Josue. Now that we've gone through Sigma's data app showcase and showcased our data application on top of Databricks' job and usage, let's get into the actual architecture that underpins this Sigma data app and how we're actually able to deliver this. Stepping into our first slide here, there are a couple key components I want to point out before we go through the rest of the app architecture. The first are the two icons at the top. The app owner is responsible for developing all of the components within the data application. The app user goes in and interacts with these components. So Sigma's data applications are the UI, actions, and writeback. All of these are going to be important as we talk through how Sigma sits directly on top of Databricks with our data apps architecture. Stepping into the first part of this, we'll go through the flow as an app user. The app user would come into the Sigma data application and start to interact with the UI. This includes workbooks, tables, visualizations, anything that a user would do within a traditional dashboard. These types of interactions ultimately machine generate SQL within Sigma, and we push this machine generated SQL down to Databricks. What we do when we return the data from Databricks is we're actually just bringing back the query results. So none of the data is ever leaving Databricks. Traditionally, we're querying delta tables within the silver and gold layer to provide that business user, non-technical app user, more context around the large amounts of data that are traditionally stored in Databricks. Another key part to point out here is that entire exchange of data is actually powered by Databricks Compute. So we're using serverless SQL warehouses as the user goes in and interacts with the Sigma data application to bring data from Databricks back into Sigma. All of this is governed by Unity Catalog, which is another critical piece. All of the permissions and governance that you would set up for that app user are then inherited through the Sigma data application. This means that the app user is never going to be able to see data that they should not be able to have access to. Stepping into the next pillar of our Sigma data application, we have writeback. Writeback allows app owners go in and configure writeback tables, which create what we call input tables from Sigma, and those get stored within Delta tables in Databricks. These input tables are not overwriting any of the silver and gold level data that already exists within Databricks. The way that we like to think about these is that input tables are actually augmenting the data that already exists within Databricks. This allows app users to go in and do traditional database operations that data teams within Databricks would have to do by using input tables with writeback functionality. This writeback functionality creates a bidirectional flow from the Sigma data application into Databricks. Instead of just depending on Databricks to do these types of operations, you actually can have app users and app owners define these in Sigma in a low-code, no-code interface. Additionally, these input tables can actually be used to help augment silver and gold data. Traditionally, data engineering teams are responsible for building data pipelines. This can range from hundreds to thousands of data pipelines that data engineering teams are responsible for. The hard part for data engineering teams is they might not always have all the business context that an app user would have. By being able to write input tables back in to Databricks, data engineering teams can pick these up and augment our silver and gold level data. The last part I want to talk about is actions. If we look within our Sigma data application, we see actions. Actions allow automations of both the UI functionality and writeback functionality. For UI, this can mean the process that an app user might go through and do 10 clicks. We can actually build into a workbook action where they can click once and then have those 10 clicks within the Sigma UI happen all asynchronously. If we talk about the actions for writeback, this actually allows the input of data to be automated. And as a user goes in and writes data within Sigma's write back, we're actually able to automate the entire process and then do several actions based off of that and communicate back and forth with Databricks. The last part of actions that we want to chat through is the ability to actually use actions to interact with Databricks. This opens up a broad range of optionality in terms of what actually can be done within a Sigma data application. This includes things like APIs, Databricks notebook execution, and stored procedures. All of these types of interactions actually help Sigma's data app interact directly with Databricks. This could be calling Databricks REST APIs. This could be executing a Databricks notebook that's going to update a model. Webhooks could go out to external systems, and stored procedures allow automation of just about anything that happens within the Sigma data application. Additionally, this opens up a broad swath of use cases outside of Sigma and Databricks. Being able to have these types of actions actually allow Sigma and Databricks to communicate with any external application that has an API. With this, we see a growing number of possibilities for what Sigma data applications can do. Rounding out our discussion around Sigma data apps on Databricks, let's talk about the benefits that Sigma is able to inherit due to the fact that we sit directly on top of Databricks. Jumping in, the first area that we really want to highlight is performance and scalability. Because Sigma is sitting live against Databricks' SQL warehouses, this ensures optimal efficiency and responsiveness. We're able to leverage Delta tables within Databricks for superior performance. Databricks' runtime is specifically engineered to have better performance with these. This allows end users to gain insights into the data within Databricks without knowing data languages. We can replace auxiliary applications that may be lightweight that just need to sit directly on top of Databricks as a single source of truth. The next area to highlight is security and governance. Due to the way that Sigma connects to Databricks, we're actually able to natively integrate with Databricks Union Catalog. Ultimately, what this means for Databricks platform admins is they're able to provision users with access once within Databricks, and we're able to inherit this within Sigma. This promotes a single source of truth by using Databricks without ever having to extract data from the lakehouse. Finally, we have our enterprise-grade authentication. Sigma recently rolled out OAuth and private link for both Azure and AWS, and we also have role-based access controls. The final area to highlight here is AI functionality. Due to the way that Sigma sits directly on top of Databricks, we're actually able to take AI and develop within Databricks and have those served back into Sigma. This allows non-technical users access to things like fine-tuned LLMs and RAG applications that traditionally you'd have to build a front end and a back end to help serve. This opens up a whole brand new swath of opportunities for LLMs and RAG applications to be used by non-technical users. Additionally, technical users can run Python in Sigma so that they have one less place that they need to actually manage code, and they can actually share some of this technical Python code with these non-technical users and allow them to execute it. This functionality is going to be in private preview very soon. All right, now that we've covered both the Sigma Data Apps architecture and then why running Sigma Data Apps on top of Databricks is valuable, I'd like to turn back over to Josue so that we can talk a little bit about the future of Sigma Data Apps and where he sees this technology going. Josue, thank you so much for joining us on this journey as we've been building out these apps. Would love to get a little bit more of your perspective as you have now built a Sigma Data App on top of Databricks. I guess one, where do you see the value of Sigma Data Apps and being able to be used by not just data practitioners, but non-technical and business users?
Sigma provides a fantastic interface for building applications using a UI. So everything is very intuitive. But instead of trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to like the compute components or the AI, it fully leverages what Databricks has built, or other cloud providers as well. But in this particular case, what Databricks has built. So it uses the SQL serverless compute, which is very powerful, uses Databricks' LLM models that it has available, the AI classification features that it has available. And at the end of the day, you get the opportunity to use the best in class for two things: that application building experience, along with the beautiful visualizations that Sigma offers, and the full power of Databricks that I forgot to mention is connected to all of your data in the Unity catalog. So I think it's a great great partnership between the two companies in this regard.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. I mean, it's really great to see, how being able to dive into both those technologies together and using them together is going to really enhance end users and applications users' abilities to interact with Databricks data, but then also with Sigma. I would like to learn a little bit more kind of on your thoughts of how Databricks applications and Sigma applications and Sigma data applications can be used together.
So the way that I think about it is, again, what Databricks currently offers is the ability to easily host and provide the authentication mechanisms for applications inside of Databricks, right? And that centralization of applications that are built inside of Databricks. Similar to that concept, I think of how Databricks has promoted the concept of federation as it comes to federating or getting data from different sources all in one single place. So where I think that Databricks plays well with Databricks applications plays well with Sigma applications is, well, Sigma has the other part of the equation, right? That application building experience that's very simple and intuitive, and again, uses that full power of Databricks. So one is designed to make application building experience easy. The other one's designed to make application hosting experience easy, all connected to your data. And the two, both Sigma and Databricks, place well together in this regard.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful. And I think as we continue to navigate this and as both Databricks apps continue to grow and Sigma data applications continue to grow, we're going to see a lot more interplay between those two. Last item I really wanted to cover off, and this is something we're really excited about on the Sigma side, is actually being able to use actions within Sigma data apps to call things like APIs, webhooks, stored procedures, execute Databricks notebooks. I guess from your perspective, how would you see that type of tooling being able to help build a data application and enhance a data application?
The way that I think about that is, a lot of tools out there that claim that they are for application building. They require a lot of coding to make all of this happen, right? You can build an application that many times just ends up feeling just like a plain old dashboard with no real functionality, and you just call it an application. But what Sigma is doing by having all of these features is really the ability to go beyond that dashboard and actually use functionality that you're like, hey, I can actually replace a piece of software with this. I can replace my supply chain planning solution with this. I can perhaps change some of my accounting systems based on what Sigma is able to offer and the power behind the scenes of Databricks. So I think, for example, with the application that we've built here, imagine a scenario where we could have taken this application a step further, and when we classify a tag, we assign a tag value. Not only is it creating visibility into that cost at the Sigma level, imagine that it's actually triggering an API call to update the tag value inside of Databricks for that workflow. Now imagine the possibilities where you're doing more than that, more than updating those tag values. You can potentially create a type of command center, if you will, for a lot of Databricks things when it makes sense to do so.
Awesome. Thanks, Josue. Really appreciate your thoughts and comments on all of this. I think it's very helpful to see from your point of view as a data practitioner with a very wide lens into kind of everything that's being built on both the Sigma and Databricks end and kind of how these two technologies pair together. Really appreciate you participating in the Sigma Data Apps Conference. Before we end here, I just wanted to give a special thanks to a couple of key members that helped put this together as well. Sully Clark and Donnie Afalo did a bunch of work in terms of getting our data application into a form that could be presented to this entire audience. And David Porter helped to wrangle all the cats in this. Thank you all for your help.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all.